good Monday evening and Happy New Year. Happy 2010 to you and happy first cold Monday of the year. Well, quite frankly, when I was thinking about this show a couple of weeks ago, I thought, well, let's do a nice light program about New Year's resolutions and how we can keep them, maybe pertaining to healthcare and personal finances. And little did I know, over the holidays, we'd be having a national security breach on a plane and a bombing in Afghanistan that claimed the lives of 8 CIA agents, making it the worst attack against U.S. intelligence officials since 1983 at the U.S. Embassy bombing in Beirut. Well, here we stand once again with national security at the forefront of minds. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano has been shoved into the limelight and saying the system worked when Mr. Umar Fareeq Abdul Muttalib, the man who boarded the plane, that was Northwest Flight 253, he was listed on a terror list. He even paid cash for his ticket and still managed to get by security with toxic underwear he tried to ignite in the middle of the flight. With us also on the line is Danielle Parker. She agrees with you. She's a journalist. She also lived in Arizona during Napolitano's time when she was the U.S. Attorney for the District of Arizona appointed by Clinton. Danielle, also welcome to the discussion here.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
All right, so you agree already with Matthew that Obama's got to get on the ball with one of his New Year's resolutions, yes?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, Napolitano, it's already been proven that she's in way over her head, and I think that after you speak with both of us, you'll hear the many reasons why.
Danielle, what was your experience with Napolitano when you were living in Arizona and she was the U.S. Attorney there? Was she a good leader?
She was a very ineffective leader. One of the things that really strikes me that is very, very ironic was before Bill Clinton in 1993 appointed her as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Arizona, she had basically worked at a law firm. It was called Lewis and Roca. She had been there. She started off as a law clerk at another law firm, and from 1983 to 1993, that was her experience. So I have, it fails to amaze me. It never ceases to amaze me that she even got this job in the first place. I mean, she had absolutely zero qualifications to be working in government. She's basically learning on the job, and we can still see in this day and age that she's learning on the job once again. Now, we should have someone in place who can tackle terrorism right now, because we don't need someone that needs to be taught how to handle things. Another thing that I find very, very interesting, besides the system working comment, is that she refers to terrorism as man-caused disasters, which is absolutely infuriating to me, because terrorism is terrorism. It is not a man-caused disaster. We have basically a group of radical Islamists that are trying to kill us.
And they fully admit that they are. They take responsibility after this and say, hey, yes, we're terrorizing you. I think that Janet could have altered the course of what happened here had she just had more experience under her belt.
She vetoed 115 different bills, a lot of them that were supportive of cracking down on immigration. Now, she made that an issue that she was passionate about, and she was supposedly going to do all these fantastic things to try to make sure that people weren't hopping the borders. Mm-hmm. And now what Phoenix is facing is the highest crime rate in the country, actually because of the fact that they built these huge, walls that people are still finding ways around. And because of a lot of her failed policies from the state of Arizona, they are now translating into failed policies in the administration. And unfortunately, we cannot afford to take that type of a chance in this type of a position. And I know that a lot of people are saying, oh, you know what, she's a scapegoat, and, we shouldn't be throwing her under the bus, so to speak. I really take the position that we need the best and the brightest in charge of our national security. We need to learn from Israel how they're able to combat terrorism, because they have the finest anti-terror people working for them in the world. And I would rather see someone come out of there and help us than somebody like Napolitano, who, like I said before, has to be trained for the job and is obviously failing terribly. I mean, we just had an incident yesterday in Newark where the Concourse C, there was a security breach. I mean, it happened just yesterday. And this is after, someone was able to bypass the security screeners. What has to be done to actually get people's attention? How many more of these issues have to pop up? Or does there have to be a successful attack in order for people to call for her resignation? And this is, by the way, is not a partisan issue, because I'm an independent, and I just find it extremely offensive that people are using this on both sides of the aisle as a partisan issue. This is a humanitarian issue, and it is a question of Americans' national security.
And it should be our first priority, is our security. Before we think about the economy or sinking trillions into any particular facet of this nation, this should be the place that we look to first to protect our people.
Absolutely. I agree with you 110%. What good is healthcare going to do if there is no one here to receive?
Exactly. Here's the question. Does it actually look better for Napolitano if she comes out and just says, look, you know what? I failed to do my job. I'm going to do it better. And can you just trust me to get my act in order? Or no go? Does she try to fly under the radar and the next time something happens, she goes?
May I address this?
Yes.
I think that Napolitano is not an apologist. And once again, I think that the Obama administration is setting an example for that type of policy. In other words, he will always point his finger at the Bush administration for all of his woes. And, as far as I'm concerned, he did take office almost a year ago, and he's still blaming Bush for all of the failed policies and not taking the responsibility on himself. And he is our commander-in-chief, which is also ironic considering that he has no military experience and no expertise in dealing with military issues. So we have two inept people, both Obama and Janet Napolitano, who are completely in sync with one another. The other thing that I think is really disturbing is their extraordinarily calm demeanor while this is all happening.
Right.
There's no show of passion. I understand that leaders have to show leadership, but you know what? There should be a sense of outrage when someone tries to blow up an airplane on Christmas Day to send a message, because these Muslim extremists, and once again, I'm going to call it like they are, everything is so PC, politically correct. Everyone wants to just say, push this under the rug. The reality of the situation is that Obama and Napolitano both have the same mindset, which is why he probably will back her up. But if the people that are, also involved in the government stand up and take notice and start really, really, owning up to the fact that we have to stop doing this, this administration needs to take responsibility for their actions, I think that a lot more would get done, and it would be nice if both Obama and Napolitano said, you know what, we really screwed up and we need to overhaul the system. They're making a lot of suggestions now, but it's a little bit too late, and they really need to do more now so that something like this does not happen and we don't have another 9/11.
Well, welcome back to the Political Chick on this lively Monday night, January 4th. Happy New Year. We were just talking with Danielle Parker. She's a journalist who was under the rule of Janet Napolitano while she was in Arizona living there.